Hello, we have come again today with another video of mind map, and this time it's about global economy and international trade. My name is Julius, and I'm a student of Executive MBA in IPMI International Business School, September 2021 class. And before I start, I'm going to give a thanks to Dr. Yulita and Prof. Roy Sambal. They are my instructor, my professor for this class. So introducing you to a global economy, we start with the concept of GDP. GDP, or gross domestic product, is basically the market value of a country. Yeah, the market value of their product and also the market value of their service altogether of a country. GDP, there's another representation of the GDP, and GDP per capita is another way of representing this value. GDP per capita is dividing the GDP nominal with the number of people in the country. And then there's another value, which is a GDP PPP. GDP PPP is taking account of the purchasing power parity, which taking account of the cost of living of that country. This way actually is a better representation rather than just converting the production of that country with the exchange rate. The trend of GDP, if you look at from the first century, majority or the big part of the GDP are in Asia, because Asia has the natural resources, and then also Asia has the populations. But towards 1900s, we see the shift. There's a shift of GDP from Asia to Western world. We see Europe and US. This is mainly because there is a technology, the industry revolutions. The Western world obtain more technology, and in that sense, it is obtaining more productions in their countries. But we see towards now, we see that there's a shift again from Western world to Asia. If you see the GDP in 2019, we see that the first one is China, second is US, third India, and fourth is Japan. So we see that there's a shift in GDP PPP towards the Asia. It is predicted that in 2030, that only USA, Russia, and Germany will be in top 10 from the Western country, and the rest will be from Asia. Indonesia will be in the fourth positions. We are now in a new economy. So what it means by new economy is that the old economy, where we produce things through factory and agriculture, mining, and physical economy center, is now being added. There are addition of digitalization or e-commerce. There is an addition of capital mobility, and also there's a liberalization of economy. There are three reasons why the new economy is formed. Those are in these three pillars. The first one is better and faster customer services. Second, more efficient and better cost reductions. The third is transparency and competitions. With this purpose and reason, we see that there's disruptions. The disruptions are, we see a new commodity. For example, data is the new commodity. And then we see new technology. We see that Tesla is building electronic vehicle and now is competing with the regular vehicle. And a new source of supply. We see that the healthcare traditionally is being provided by hospitals and clinics, and now we see that retail also can provide some of the healthcare service. And then a new type of organization. There are changes in the new business world. Yeah, for example, DBS. DBS is moving from the traditional bank into a digital bank. And then new business model, we see that there's online ride hailing all over the world, and it is currently challenging the regular taxi services. For global trade, in the ancient times, it is mainly because of supply and demand. There's a supply somewhere in the world, and then there's a demand in a more advanced world. This is mainly the reason why Dutch came to our country to source spices, and then they brought the spices to Venice and to sell them in the market. And then they get very rich because of that. In the modern trade, it is no longer like that. We are actually trading product that we can produce. There are two things that each country will have. One is absolute advantage, and then second is comparative advantage. Absolute advantage is the advantage of one country to the other country in producing a certain product, while comparative advantage is the advantage of one country in producing one product compared to another product. In doing the global trade, country sometimes put tariff or quota. Tariff is the tax to the value or of importations. Quota is to limit the quantity of goods that are being imported. The reason why a country is implementing tariff or quota is to protect local industry. Why they need to protect local industry? Protect the local job market and prevent the exploitation from rich country to the poor country. Government basically plays a balancing act, ensuring that the economy engine of a local country is turning. So next, what is international business? International business is buying and selling materials in different countries, operating or producing in different countries, borrowing or lending money in different countries. There are four models of international activity or international business: domestic business, international business, multinational business, and global business. And then why we company are doing the international business? Because there's a need for diversifications. There's a need to look for potential higher margin or profit. And also there's a need to gain new ideas from other countries. Of course, in doing international business, we see that there's a risk. The first risk is cross-cultural risk. The cross-cultural risk we can see from the example of Starbucks in Australia. When first Starbucks went to Australia, they were not successful because Australian people enjoy having good coffee and good meal, while Starbucks in US basically operates using strong coffee and to go. Then we see there's a country risk. Example of country risk is Guinness operating in Malaysia. Because Malaysia is a Muslim country, they ban the advertising of alcohol beverages. Currency risk, there are two factors of currency, supply and demand. And the supply and demand actually being boosted from economic growth, economic innovations, and then also government plays an important role here in controlling the currency. Of course, like all businesses, We also have the risk in commercial, choosing the right partner, having the right operation, and then also knowing the local competition and having a good strategy execution and timing of entry are very important. In this course, we also look at Hasfit dimension of culture. Hasfit is a Dutch scientist, and he measures culture based on the following factors: power, distance, uncertainty, individualism, masculinity versus femininity, long-term orientations, indulgence versus restraint. Just to give a glimpse on what Indonesia is, we have 78 power distance, 14 individualism, 46 in masculinity, 48 in uncertainty avoidance, 62 in long-term orientations, and 38 in indulgence. In doing business internationally, international firm needs to have strategy and organizations. The strategic objective must go into efficiency, flexibility, and learning. Global firm needs to have strategy, organization structure, the right organization processes, organization culture, and visionary leadership. Visionary leadership is very important in international firm. The leader needs to have international mindset and cosmopolitan value. The leader must have willingness to commit resources. Also need to have a strategic visions and willingness to invest in human asset, especially in the country that the person is. Next, there's also a strategy in how company operates in the international market. It is called international integration responsiveness strategy. The first one is home replication strategy. Second is multi-domestic strategy or localization strategy. The third is global strategy, and fourth, transnational strategy. Home replication strategy, basically the firm is replicating the home operation and product to other market. Multi-domestic strategy basically gives liberty to each market to have their own product and to have their own operations. Global strategy is to look at international market as one big market. The whole world is being looked at as one market, and basically product relatively will be standard, and management look to standardize process as well. Transnational strategy is a matrix strategy where company look to standardize as much as possible, but when they see there's a need for a local product, they will also come up with a local product. The several entry strategy, import export, where company just stay where they are and they do their business by importing or exporting. Counter trade is part of it. Some is being exported or imported, and some are not. Foreign direct investment is investing in the new country. Venture is forming a partnership with another local partner. Licensing is giving the license to the local partner, and franchising also having marketing in an international firm is always a balancing act. A global marketing strategy must include the standardization or global integrations to the worldwide marketing strategy, but also take considerations of the adaptation or local responsiveness. International firm must take considerations of national preferences, law and regulations, living standard and economic conditions, and also national infrastructure of the nations that they are targeting. Next, we also learn about competitive of nations. There are actually two types of prosperity. The first one is inherited prosperity, and then second is inherited prosperity. Inherited prosperity is what we have, what the land has. For example, natural resources, or oil and mining products. Also, the fertility of lands. Those are some of the inherited prosperity. Inherited prosperity needs to be taken care of, and also inherited prosperity can actually over time erode it. Also, we have created prosperity, which is the prosperity that being created from its people. The created prosperity can come from the entrepreneurial capability of their people. Currently, Indonesia is ranked 36 out of 137 countries. And if you look at the data, we are actually about on par in the institution on infrastructure compared to East Asia and Pacific countries. Macroeconomic environment, we are okay. Health and primary education, we are lag behind. Higher education, we are lag behind. Good market efficiency is about on par. Labor market efficiency is we lag behind. Financial market development, we are about on par. And also technology readiness, we are behind. Market size, we definitely are a lot bigger than the others. And business sophistications about on par, and innovation about on par. In this class, we also did a book review, and the book that we review is actually The World is Curved by David M. Smith. This book is talking about the subprime mortgage. The subprime mortgage happened in US in 2008, and this local crisis actually impact the world. I suggest you to look at the book and read through it. It is very interesting. I would like to thank my teammates. This semester, actually, I'm teamed with Burita, Iri, April, Pak Teguh, Pak Patrick, and Yosia. And thank you for all the cooperations, and thank you all the good fun. That's it for me. I hope to see you again, and take care. Bye-bye.